Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
D3 Dyslexia Breakthrough Podcast. This is episode 5, Reassurance. My content is going to upset a lot of people who make a lot of money out of dyslexia and ADHD. A large number of people with big egos want distressed parents to keep paying for their new Porsches. The status quo serves their interests, but I don't care. Why should millions of kids be traumatized when it is preventable? Your dyslexic child will be fine if you do things differently. It's not a disability. There's no such thing as normal. Think of it as like being left-handed. It used to be considered evil to be left-handed. The school system has been teaching the same stuff the same way for 100 years. Schools insist on standardized testing only using text. If they use visual or oral literacy testing, dyslexics would be getting A's. Awareness of dyslexia has existed for 100 years, and if 20% of the population has it, then it's important. Did you know that Kevin O'Leary, who is a wealthy Canadian businessman, and he was called Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank, he can actually read a book upside down in a mirror. But when he talks about his childhood dyslexic experience, he gets incredibly emotional. 2026 is the greatest time in human history to be a dyslexic thinker, if you do things differently. Traditional schooling is a waste of time for every child, but dyslexic kids will be crushed. So before you pay for expensive medical experts, reading and writing tutoring, take a breath and look at things differently. Parent reactions and support are so important. Kids with dyslexia think they are the only ones. In fact, kids think that they are always the only ones that are experiencing things. Dyslexia is now recognized as a desirable skill on LinkedIn, and the creative traits work hand in hand with AI. It distresses me that billions of kids have been harmed and continue to be harmed by traditional schooling. It's not done on purpose, it's not malicious, and I've been responsible for part of that, and that bothers me even more. You can't tell a child they have a superpower when their school life tells them they are useless. It distresses me that millions of parents are confused and overwhelmed and have no choice but to follow bad advice because there is no good advice. It distresses me that the smartest kids in the class will feel stupid and worthless. A friend of mine has a mildly autistic grandchild who is super shy and doesn't like to talk to strangers like me. When I visited, I noticed he was wearing a Minecraft t-shirt. I asked about the shirt. As soon as I mentioned Minecraft, his eyes lit up and he wouldn't stop talking for an hour. When you talk to kids, actually listen. You might actually learn something. So, a few tips and I guess a bit of a summary of what we've covered so far. The first thing, before anything, before testing, before even discussing it, find stuff that your child is good at. If they're dyslexic, they're probably good at a lot of things, at most things. Build their confidence. Spend time with them. Get them to teach you technology, even a game. Kids love it when they can teach adults stuff and make adults look stupid. Be their student. Ask them what games kids are using, what apps people use. Find common ground. Find out about Minecraft education game. It's the biggest selling game in the world, I believe, and kids love it. Even kids at school, if you actually use Minecraft, their eyes will light up. If you suspect dyslexia, your reaction and their teacher's reaction is critical. Don't be sad. Don't be concerned. Don't talk with other friends about it. Okay, the best reaction is, yeah, so what? Forget about tests and grades and comparing them with other kids. Students will be nasty to anyone who struggles in school. Remember what it was like when you were at school. The reality is that in 2026, nothing in school is useful in real life. School teaches compliance. Sitting down and memorizing useless facts, this is 40 years out of date. Everything that takes place in school has a focus on assignments, tests and grades using text, that is TEXT. That is the only area of weakness that a dyslexic will have. And so a dyslexic student will be crushed by these things. Anything that makes them feel different is bad. So that means when you give assistance, just like I've mentioned in previous episodes about a child wearing glasses, having them seated somewhere else, that might make you feel better. That might make everyone feel like they're doing something about it. But sometimes the worst thing in the world is simply to be pointed out as different. Kids just want to comply. They want to blend in. And they're no different to adults. Your child needs to teach you what they enjoy. So that's where you actually start asking questions, but try not to do it like a parent. Try to act interested. Find out things. I spent a lot of my time in class basically finding out what kids do. For example, Snapchat. I knew, and my nieces were quite surprised I knew all about Snapchat because that was things that the kids do. So basically the kids want to be anywhere their parents aren't. So sometimes I'll have a little fake Facebook account so that parents think, oh yeah, that's all innocent, but then they're doing something else somewhere else. You and your child need to discreetly teach the teacher because they probably don't know. Okay, so that's one of those things where you assume that the teacher knows. You assume if you've actually had an independent education plan. All the time and money in the world you can spend on this, but it doesn't mean the message gets through because they're really busy or sometimes they're not interested. So the reality is you actually have to discreetly let them know what to do. There's actually a kit I've produced which will actually has a template that will help you with that one. Please be assured you need to actually communicate with them. And one of the best things is if a parent can actually make an appointment and actually just explain things. Anything that makes dyslexic kids stand out is bad. So that means extra time with the teacher, extra time for assignments. And unfortunately, sometimes teachers, even experienced teachers, I've seen them will actually call out to all the dyslexic kids and say, hey, you people with extra time, you go off to this area here. It makes them stand out and they hate it. Your child needs to teach you what they enjoy. And what that means is you ask open-ended questions. So not yes-no answers. Like the most useless one in the world is, oh, did you have a good day at school today? Yes. It doesn't work. So you need to actually say, oh, tell me about a particular game, or tell me what you enjoy doing, or what's your favorite TV program? You and your child need to discreetly teach the teacher because they probably don't know. So don't assume that a teacher actually knows your child. Don't assume the teacher knows what their needs are. Okay? And for a lot of time, don't assume the teacher knows what dyslexia is because I didn't know. And so I had never had any training. And even with that training, it doesn't explain what I understand now. Don't be impressed by titles or degrees. You can have a PhD or you can be a principal and you can still be an idiot. Teachers and principals and people who feel they are very important are excellent actors. Don't assume experts are experts just because they call themselves that. I'm the Serial Teacher. If you like what I'm doing, check out the free tips on the Serial Teacher YouTube channel. I also have a Dyslexia Breakthrough Facebook group where I'm happy to answer questions. Thanks for listening.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.